In northwestern Iraq, residents of a border town dealt with the aftermath of a Syrian airstrike said to have targeted Sunni militants in the area. The Iraqi government said Syria carried out strikes against positions of the Islamic State in Iraq and the Levant around the town of Al-Qaim. The al-Qaeda splinter group has overrun large areas in northern and western Iraq. In Pakistan's Banu district, people who have fled the embattled North Waziristan tribal area formed long lines to receive humanitarian aid. Officials say almost 500,000 civilians have streamed out of North Waziristan since last week's launch of a government military operation against Taliban fighters and other militants. In Afghanistan, former Defense Ministry workers staged a protest in the capital, Kabul, against plans to distribute plots of land to ministry employees. The protesters said the plots had been allocated for the construction of a health clinic and a mosque. In Russia, rights activists asked people on the street in Moscow to sign postcards in support of victims of torture. The initiative by Russia's Committee Against Torture and Amnesty International marked International Day in support of victims of torture. Every year, about 60,000 Russian citizens file complaints over alleged torture and beating by police and security officers. In Georgia, the International Day in support of victims of torture was marked with an international conference in the capital, Tbilisi. Human rights activists from Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Central Asian republics, and Russia spoke about challenges they face in their fight against torture. In Bosnia-Herzegovina, a vintage fashion show paid tribute to the social, cultural, and architectural influence of the Austro-Hungarian Empire's three-decade rule between 1878 and 1918. The event in Sarajevo was part of cultural events marking the 100th anniversary of the outbreak of World War I in July 1914. In the Kyrgyz capital Bishkek, anti-immigration protesters delivered a barrel labeled Vaseline, made in China, to the Ministry of Youth and Immigration Policy. The activists protested what they consider lax immigration policies in the country. They called on the government to lower quotas for foreign workers, most of whom are Chinese. In Tajikistan's capital Dushanbe, the government and international organizations hosted an event to raise awareness of drug abuse. Singers, doctors, and public figures joined the gathering, which was held on the eve of the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. According to official data, there are some 7,000 drug addicts in Tajikistan. And that's the video roundup from Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty.